Today we are going to learn how to crochet a gradient rose. First, this rose. It's got 3 colors and it's got petals that look like they're one piece but it's really one piece, and then it's got leaves. You can just hook 1 or 2 pieces and then you have a receptacle. So this is the basic structure of the rose, and when we first start we're going to take the outermost string of the rose in the lightest color. That's the white stitch, and first we tie a slip knot and then the pinky. Half a loop and then through the back of our hand our middle finger and thumb. Press down on the end of this line and then our index finger. To control the tightness of the line, so let's hook the crochet under the line. Do the loop and then bring out a V that counts as just a braid pin. We need 53 braid pins. So you're at 53 braid pins now. If you're a novice, you can go back and see if there are 53 full S, and then in the second turn we start crocheting 52 short stitches, and the way we crochet short stitches is to double back the one closest to the crochet. The first bit doesn't count, so we count down to the second. Such a way we pick up his left half, and then the crochet continues winding the tape to appear on our crochet. There are 2 coils on the body, so we crochet in the winding and take out the 2 coils at once so as to make a short stitch. So we can put a marker on him for the first short stitch, and when we put the marker through we need to put both sides of these 2 V's through him. This is our one complete, so let's move on. And this row down here we're going to have 52 short needles, and I'm going to show you how to do that again. I'm going to start by lifting it halfway into the stitch, and then I'm going to take the crochet out of the back of this thread, and I'm going to do it again. Bring out the 2 coils so that you have a short needle going in and winding out the back. Enter the next needle order. The crochet comes out of the back, and we're all going to hook this short stitch. Alright, when we're done with the 52 pins, we're gonna go to the third row. So first we hook 5 braids, and again the crochet goes around the diagonal back of the thread to bring out 1 braid, 2 braids, 3 braids, 4 braids. Five braids, and then we're going to flip the piece, and then we're going to crochet. Keep going around. Then insert the needle in the middle of the third needle and bring it out in a circle. Let's hook on crochet hook by winding the thread first. The 2 coils are wound again, and the last 2 coils are taken out so that it is a long needle. After the long needle is hooked, we hook 2 more braids into yarn and 1 more long needle to be wound. He's in the last one and out the first 2 coils. Then take out the last 2 coils so as to make a loop crochet and then wrap the thread and continue to jump 2 stitches. 1 2 in the 3rd stitch into the crochet stitch, first winding the tape out of the thread. The 2 coils are taken out after the 2 coils so as to be a long needle. The long stitch is followed by 2 braid stitches, 1 in a crochet, 1 thread in the same hole. Hook a long needle and the second loop completes the 3rd. The crochet continues to loop and hop 2 stitches. The 3rd stitch goes in, the 3rd crochet takes out the first 2 coils and 2 more coils. Then 2 lock stitches, and the crochet continues winding into the same thread. Hook another long needle. This is the 3rd loop, so we're going to keep doing this about 17 times. Alright, let's go to the last needle order. We can take the crochet hook off for him and wrap it around and take the exact spot we just took the crochet hook off. The needle. We've already hooked the 3rd row and we're going to lock the needle and flip the branch. And then we hook it from one end to the other. The 4th row requires 2 long needles, 2 braids, and 2 long needles in the same needle head, and I'll show you how. First, the crochet continues to wind from the back of this line in a straight line, and then we are this one this time in the 1st row of this hole. The smaller hole is not the bottom one but the top row, so let's put the needle in the hole closest to us first. Crochet first, bring out the first 2 coils and then the second 2 coils, hook 2 long stitches after. Two more braid pins in the same hole. You hook 2 long needles one at a time and you repeat it. So we're going to move on to the next hole, and it's got to be the least up. In this small loop above, the crochet goes into the hole and out through the first 2 coils. After going through the last 2 coils and hooking the 2 long needles again, there are 2 long needles. The crochet is still brought out from the rear. The incoming crochet is brought out. The crochet is wound into 2 long stitches. And then the next cycle. Two long needles and 2 braid needles. After 2 long needles, we come to the 5th circle. Again, turn the piece round and round, then this round will need to hook 8 long needles in the same needle. Well, that's the first needle order. Take out the first 2 coils. The next 2 coils are hooked 8 times in this coil. To count. 1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8。Let's do the drawing in the next needle. The drawing position is in the lower left second drawer and the needle is inserted in this position. The crochet ribbon is wound out so as to make a pull out. After drawing, lock the needle again and proceed to the next needle on top for a repeat of 8 long stitches. Then insert the needle in the second drawer from the bottom left. Then the crochet hook brings it out for the draw. Lock in 1 stitch and repeat with 8 long stitches. Then the lower left drawer. One needle in the lock and then 8 more long needles. So let's see, we have 8 long needles and we can make one, and this is a circle. So our petals, we need to hook 8 white petals and we've already hooked 4. And then we're going to hook the 5th petal and we're going to change the thread at the last stitch on the 8th petal. Let's count them. This is the last long needle of the 8th petal, and the first thing to change the thread is the light yellow in the middle. So let's get this wire ready to change. Put it on the back of this piece and press it like this, and then our hands. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to switch to the middle finger of our left hand and we're going to put pressure on him and then when we check, It must be just the line that we're going to replace and the original white line. Put it all together on top of this crochet and the bottom of this yellow line is put in the middle of them so that you can press it into this and break it later. This is a little needle and then I'm going to repeat this with the yellow thread, which is 8 long needles in a hole. The thread to be cut must be in our middle position for it to be hidden inside. Eight long needles later. Now we can just cut that line out and go ahead and draw it underneath. Repeat 8 long stitches in lock 1 stitch. The yellow part needs to reach 6 petals. We're going to start with the second petal and we're going to do the same thing when we get to the 6th petal in yellow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and now the last stitch of the 6th petal is going to change the thread again. We still start with the dark thread. Press back and then hand back to the original position. Press it with the thumb of your left hand and crochet the thread. Bring out a little bit of V and tighten it a little bit so that our thumb can pull the yellow line. And the dark yellow thread at the same time to press the lower left pull and lock a stitch. And then we crochet the thread that we're going to cut. Put it on top of the crochet and repeat with 8 long stitches. This is the darkest part. We're just going to hook 4 petals and we're going to hook each petal in the same way. Eight long needles will do. Alright, our last petal. After the 8 long needles of the needle have been hooked, we will have finished the branch. Now we can break the thread and this is 1 by 1 and then we take the green thread and rehook the receptacle part of the flower and the leaf again with a slip knot at the end. Then, the pinky picks up the thread and wraps it around and crosses the back of the hand. Use your middle finger and thumb to press down on the end of the thread and then we hook 10 braid pins around the thread with a crochet needle to bring out a V for a braid pin. 2 V's, 3 V's. 4 V's, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 braid pins and 1 weird and with elbow back a short pin to the penultimate V. When this is the first V and this is the penultimate, we pick up his left entry needle, which is going in and out and going around again. You bring out 2 coils, and this is a short stitch and then a medium and long stitch. The medium and long stitches still need to be crocheted around and then put in the next stitch and then crochet around again. Now we have 3 coils on our crochet hook and we're going to crochet them one more time and bring them out. All the coils here are a medium long stitch followed by a hooked long stitch. The long needle still needs to go around and into the next needle, and in this crochet now there are 3 coils on it that we need for the long needle. Through the first 2 coils and through the last 2 coils next stitch we need to crochet the thread. Double crochet the 3 coils into the next stitch. The crochet wand brings out the 4 coils after we crochet. Wind the wire again and bring out the first 2 coils. Wind the wire again and bring out the last 2 wires. The coil is wound one last time to take out all the coils. This is a long needle, so we need to hook another long needle in the same hole. Crochet the thread twice a thread with the same needle into the needle first out of the first 2 coils. Two more coils with number and 2 more coils with number. So let's hook on long needle. The crochet goes in and the thread is wound in the next order and this time in the next order. The entry needles are the first 2 and the second 2. The last 2 continue to wind the thread twice and then insert the needle into the next thread. In this needle line we still need to hook 2 long needles and hook them again. Next up is a long crochet, and you just wind the thread one at a time and you bring out the first 2 and then 2. This is 1 and then a medium long needle in the next needle order. Take out all 3 coils at once now. There's only 1 stitch left and we'll hook 3 short stitches in the last stitch, 1 and 2. The third 3 we found that after we hooked 3 short pins our reamers had already. So we're going to go we've just ticked the left and now we're going to tick the top. It's the same thing, hook along, medium needle. So the thread that we're going to cut off is pressing on top of this crochet hook. So tuck it in and hook it into now 3 coils at a time and pull it out and hook a long needle. Insert the needle into the next needle and take the first 2 out. 2 more and then wound the thread twice and put the needle in the next needle. Wind the wire 2 more times. Bring out 2 coils and turn in the same needle. Because we cut off the back of this thread so that the needle can be wound twice. Bring out the 2 coils and turn in the next thread. And then 2 more times we put a needle in the last needle. Take out the first 2 and then 2 and then 2 at the end. Once again in the same hole and then winding it one at a time. A long crochet is wound once. Hook a medium long needle in the next line to bring out 3 coils at once and a short needle in the last line. And now that we have a shape of the leaf, we need to do it in a first V position. A lead hook must have gone through the back of this V. And you can see that you put V together like this and then you crocheted it and wound it. Stitch the 2 coils, the front coil through the back coil so that it is a draw. So we're going to do a little stitch and we're going to add the wire and the wire is going to be pressed on top of our wire. It's on top of this line. And then we continue with the first beat we just drew. The position of the insertion needle in this circle will loop the hook by first hooking a short needle. Then hook 2 braid pins into the next needle. The entry needle continues to hook a short needle followed by 2 braid pins. Plug a needle and 2 braids. Purple short needle 2 braids. Short needle 2 braid needles. Short needle 2 braids. So we loop it around and then we go back to the last one. There's a gap and then we do a pull out. Then we can cut the cord and move on to the receptacle. For the receptacle we need a ring lift and the ring lift is with the pinky. I'm going to go around this line and then I'm going to go across the back and I'm going to go around our index finger. With the crochet through the gap between this and the finger, we take the leftmost thread. Put him through the present is this state. And then we're going to do a crochet and we're going to pull the tip out and we're going to do it again. Take it out, we take it off now and then we hook it. I'm going to go around this wire and then I'm going to go through our loop and then I'm going to go around and I'm going to come out and see our wire hook. 3 coils and rehook a long needle, which means we take out the first 2 coils and then we take out the last 2 coils and we crochet and wind the wire again. 1 into the hole to bring out the first 2 coils. The last 2 coils, so let's see the side is of V. 2 beads, so we need to hook 10 long pins in this ring, so this is the second one. We next hook the third coil to bring out the coil in the winding. Let's count how many V's we have. 1 V, 2 V's, 3 V's, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we can now see this strand of this thread. We're going to pull it and we're going to tighten it and we're going to find this first position and we're going to go in and cross it. This is 1 hour time for the needle to the thread to be brought out for a pull out. After the trigger, we lock the stitch and then we start the hook. A braid needle crochet thread wound to bring out a V 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to double check the second to the left of the penultimate V. We lift it up and we put the front coil through it. This coil in the back is what's called a pull-out, and then the next needle into the needle. A short needle. The next stitch is a short stitch followed by a line. The next thread takes out all 3 coils on the hook at once. Wind the thread again for the next stitch. The same method takes out 3 coils in a single coil and hooks them in a single thread once. This time we hook the long needle first 2 generations and then 2 generations. Wrap it around again the last needle with the first 2 and then the last 2 in the mesh, and we're going to empty 2 stitches now. We're going to pull. This is 1 needle, this is the second needle, so we're going to go to the third needle. I'm going to pull out from this hole in the front, from this coil in the front. Go through the back coil and repeat. Need to hook up to 7 braid pins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 picks it up to the left of the penultimate V and picks only one side. Then wound the front of the wire to bring out the back of a lock pin. Next, 2 short needles and then a crochet thread. Two medium-long needles are used to take out 3 coils at a time. Next, I'll wind 2 long needles, 2 long needles, 1、2、3. The third needle enters the needle and continues to draw needle. Then 7 pigtail needles 1, 2, 3, 4, 56. 7. The left side of the penultimate V is drawn first into short pins. Then 2 medium-long needles. Finally, 2 long needles and then jump to holes. Lead first pull. Into short needles. Alright, let's keep pulling. So we've got the receptacle part done, and then we can leave it long. Leave the long thread to break it longer around the rod. Take it out and then take this thread. The short end of the thread is cut off and put our crochet through it. Now this ring-shaped pin is going to have a loop, and then we're going to pull it out so that when we put our rod in, and then you can just start winding it like this, and then we're going to assemble it and give it a little bit of a drum. And then the tail. And then we get this flower pole. Take a pair of these pliers and bend the head here. And then we go back to the daughter end. That's what we're going to do with this flower stalk, is glue it together. I'm here and I'm curling it like this, just try not to show our. The flower pole began to chase. Let's give him a little more glue. And then we're going to do this. Rotating. This is just a red area at the bottom. Just put a little glue on it. It happens when we stick it on. Make an adjustment according to yourself this flower. At the end you can put a little bit of glue in the last petal. Make him a little bit more solid in this way, in this way, in this way, in this way. So this is the face of the flower, and now we have the receptacle, and notice that the receptacle is divided into heads so the back is the back, so we're going to hide the ugly side, which is the back inside this. The nice side is the one that needs to be exposed, so we're going to compare our choices before we glue. One of the corners of the receptacle is going to be glued to this one right here. Closing the last position so it's a little bit more natural, so when you pick your position. Let's put a little more glue on the base of the flower we just dropped. And then we're going to take the four corners of it and we're going to put a little bit of glue on it, and we're not going to naturally pop up a little bit better in this little corner in front of here. So we don't have to pick it, and now we need to get this. I'm going to wrap it around, and we're going to wrap a thicker knot on the bottom here, and then we're going to work our way down, and then we're going to start by comparing if we want to add leaves. Let's say you add it here and you continue the winding. Oh, my rose is only made of one petal if you like to. Or we could check another one just like we did in the video. Go around to the tail part and apply some glue, and then we'll have our rose hooked. A simple version of the tulip, with the ring finger and pinky finger in front of the line. Together they make 3 circles in our own direction like this. The hook goes through the first 2 coils and pulls the 3rd thread out from underneath, and the hook goes around the outgoing thread. Pull the wire through the coil and you get a hook like this. A standing pin has a large middle finger and thumb holding the large coil and the crochet passing through the large coil. When you pull the thread out by winding it, you now have 2 coils on the crochet, and the crochet is winding it and pulling out both coils. So we've got 1 short needle and we're going to have 6 of these short needles. Go through and pull out the crochet stitch and pull through the 2 coils with the 2nd short stitch going through. Pull out the crochet stitch to wrap the thread and pull out the 2 coils for the 3rd stitch. The 4th needle. Let the string out. Take out the 5th thread. So that's 6 short needles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to pull this thread first. So I can pull this one back and tighten the coil. You're pulling on the end of this thread and you're pulling this thread in, and your stitch is connected to loop like this. There it is, it's a circle. Let's make a 2nd circle. Also 6 short stitches plus the first hook of a standing stitch from just now. The connecting needle goes through to pull the thread out and wind the thread. We go through 2 coils together, and this is the first of the 2nd circle of the 2nd row. A needle we took out the machine and buckled this body on the wood buckle. Short needle plus needle is in the same needle. Hook 2 short needles. Hook 2 short needles in each needle heading. Pull it through the 2 coils and pull it out through the 2 coils, and that's 4 short needles. There are 6 of these short needles to stitch through. 2 short needles come out of the same needle. This is one of my guides, so the second row is 12 short pins. Take out the first pin of the full stop buckle and pull the connection through the thread. You pull it out and then you pull it straight in and you think you're done in the second turn. The third circle is a short needle. A short needle plus a needle is a small needle. You hook a ending needle through the drawn needle. Pull out and hook a short pin so that the first pin of the third loop is marked on the buckle. The second stitch is a short stitch plus a stitch, so it's the same stitch. Hook 2 short stitches. You have to hook 6 sets of 1 short stitch. A short needle, a short needle, and a needle. A short needle. 1 short needle and 1 last set. Add short needle. Alright, take it off and remember to pull it through with the first pin. I found that I just pulled out a lead pin so that the third loop was hooked. It is also a rising needle that begins to hook the fourth lead, and this needle is hooked into a short needle and the first needle of the fourth lead is hooked. We button the mark button. The fourth circle is 2 short stitches. 1 plus stitch means to hook 2 short stitches first. In the third stitch 1 plus stitch is also hook 6 sets. One short needle, 2 short needles, 1 short needle plus a needle. The second group. The completion of the third set of needles was needle added. A short needle. 2 short needles. The last group is a short needle. Two short needles, 1 short needle plus a needle. To remove the mark buckle and connect with the first needle draw. Again, just pull the line straight over and you're done on the fourth turn. As the ending needle pulls the thread out of the drawn entry needle to hook a short needle. The first pin of the fifth circle is a marker button. The fifth circle is 3 short pins and 1 short pin. The short one is the second short one is the third short one is the short one is the second short one is the first short one. 2 short needles, 3 short needles, 1 short needle plus a needle. The third group is a short needle. Two short needles, 3 short needles, 1 short needle plus a needle. The fourth group is a short needle. Two short needles, 3 short needles. A short needle and a short needle. Two short needles, 3 short needles, 1 short needle plus a needle. 1 is the last at a short needle. 2 short needles, 3 short needles, a short needle plus a needle. This round is a 30-pin take-off button. The crochet is connected from the first stitch to a ending stitch. I'm going to hook the 6th circle. The 6th circle is for short needles. 1 short needle plus a needle is also drawn from the lead. This needle is the number of buttons on the first pin. We're going to hook 4 short pins and this is the second one. Third and fourth 4 short needles, 1 short needle. Add needles and you have 6 needles. There are 6 sets of stitches and that's 36 stitches, 34 short stitches plus stitches. Short needle plus needle, this is 1 to take the mark off. We draw from the first needle to connect the 7th and 17th turns. There are 36 stitches straight through the first stitch and then 2 stitches put together and this is the first stitch of the 7th turn. All the way to the 17th turn of the 17th turn of 36 short pins without adding or subtracting, so we can remove the marker buckle. Connect with the first needle, draw and leave our thread slightly longer. To check the leaves, let a coil pinky and ring finger hold around the index finger, pinch the coil, crochet through the coil. The winding thread is pulled out to tighten the coil by hooking a standing pin. Let the thread pull out 1 braid pin. Let the thread pull out to 1 thread. Take out 3 braid pins. There are 31 braid pins to hook. In the hook, I'll eat needle in the hook. Two short needles pulled out. The thread is run and pulled through the 2 coils through the braid pin. He pulled out the thread and wound it through 2 coils and hooked 3 medium and long needles. The crochet thread is wound, and the thread goes through the winding needle to pull the 3 coils. A medium to long needle. Wind the thread through the braid pin and pull the thread out and wind the tape through the 3 coils. When 2 medium long needles are wound and pulled out with 3 coils and 3 medium long needles are hooked with a long needle. There are 18 long stitches to pull the crochet through the 2 coils. After the winding is pulled, the 2 coils are turned over and wound. And then 2 of them go through and pull it out. One by one, and then pull the winding wire through the first 2 and then the 2 after the winding wire and then hook. The force 18. Alright, then hook 3 medium and long needles to pull the thread out. The crochet thread is wound through 3 coils, one with 3 sizes and then 2 short stitches. This is inside the last braid pin. Hook 3 short needles through 3. Count 34 after pulling 3 short needles. Then we are in the stitch. Two short needles. Three pull over and wind the wire 3. Again, 18 long needles. $178. This is a hook for 3 medium long needles. Three or 2 short needles. Drawing needles pass through the first needle. Let me just pull it out and connect it. This is the broken thread and I'm going to rearrange the blades. Pull the thread end and wind the thread end. Let the wire allow him to merge about a centimeter. Go through the middle and pull the wire together. Cut off any excess thread and wire. The leaves are hooked. First, take out the wire of the flower pole. Let's put a little bit in there. Take out the green shoes. Go in the middle here. Pull the thread out and do the same with the rod. We are also going to go through the middle here and I'm going to thread it like this. Leave a little bit of it and stretch it out a little bit. Slowly like this. Look at it on the wire of the flower pole. Look in. Take the padded cotton and stuff it inside the tulip. You can feel it out a little bit when you're done. Tell him to take out the suture needle and let him. It's lined, it's symmetrical and it goes right through here. He comes back and you pull him back. And then you do the same thing to the left and the right. I'm going to go through here and cross it like this. Stitched together. Tidy it up. You can wind the thread a little bit more on this flower. The extra thread. Cut and pinch the tulip bones. The flowers are ready and now we're going to start wrapping the rods. When I was in this position, Now when it's about this position, you can put a little bit of glue and show us what it looks like. Hold it in place and take out our leaves. It fits on the pole like this and continues winding. You can put some glue here. To the end of the flower pole to apply glue. Cut the cord, and the tulips are ready. Now learn how to crochet a lily of the valley. Lily of the valley is mainly made up of this body part and then the branches and leaves of the flower. We have 4 flowers for 1 lily of the valley, and then we take this thread and we crochet the body of the lily of the valley, and then we have the purple line. What color is your flower? What color is the line that you use? And then we're going to start stitch with 6 short crochet hooks wrapped around the little finger and through the palm, through the middle finger, between the index fingers, and then wrap around the index finger and come through, and then pinch the thread between your thumb and your middle finger. We wrap it around the middle finger and we take out the crochet hook. The crochet goes through the coil on the middle finger, and then it's wound and it's drawn out and it's wound, and that creates the ending stitch, and then we're going to start. I'm going to hook 6 short crochet hooks through the coils on my middle finger, and I'm going to loop them out, and now I've got 2 lines on the crochet hook. The thread is wound through these 2 coils once, and then we hook the short needle. We put a marker on the first pin and then the next 5 pins. We have 6 short needles, and then we have a look at this, and this is a short needle. Are 6 short needles. And then we're going to look at ours from the side, and we're going to go in through this hole in the side, and we're going to lift up the whole braid needle. These 2 lines he's in our place, and then when he hooks them all the way up to the 2 strands of this braid. Okay, now we're going to pull the coil tight, and now the back is the white side. We're going to put the needle through the last coil. And then you take the marker and you put the crochet through and the crochet through and the crochet through and the crochet through, and then you pull the coil tight, and you have a pull out, and you have your first circle of 6 short stitches. And then we start the second round of 6 short pins, and we start with a standing pin, and then we start with 6 short pins and stitches. Short needle plus needle is to hook 2 short needles into a needle head and repeat 6 times. There are 16 short stitches after 6 repetitions. Make sure you fasten it on the first stitch. Hook 2 needles into each thread. 22 short pins for the second lap. It's just 6 pins plus 12 pins, and then we're going to go to the marker and we're going to pull at the first pin, and then we're at the end of each turn. They all have one lead and 2 ends, and then you have to hook cast ending pin at the beginning of each turn. So let's move on to the third loop, and the third loop is a short pin and then repeat 6 times with a short stitch, and then we do this 6 times. And then when we finish the third round, we have 18 short needles. We're still pulling at the first stitch, and then we're starting to pull the fourth. The fourth to the fifth circle is 18 short stitches without adding or subtracting, starting Let's with go round the 4 to 5. That's the end of 8 and diminished pins, and then we start the 6th circle. We're still going to hook cast and up stitch, and then on the 8th turn we're going to start the drop stitch, and we're still going to have a short stitch and a drop stitch. Repeat 6 times. First, hook a short needle. Alright, let's see how do we hook a short needle. What we normally do here is we insert the needle and we lift the whole braid. And then we cut the needle by picking the first half of the braid over the last half of the braid. And then 2 needles, and 1 needle is a subtraction needle, which is 1 half at a time, and then another half. The back hook is wound through us and back through us. Okay, so we're going to repeat this set 6 times, and then we're going to pull. We were done in the 6th lap. At the end of the 6th turn, we have 12 short pins to put in. And then we're going to start the 7th loop, and first we're going to hook 3 pins. A needle 1 through lock needle 2, 3, and that's it. 3 braids is 3 lock pins, and then we flip it over. When we look together, this side is the braid and then this side. This is a vertical line, can you see it? And then this side is a vertical line. It's a vertical line like that. We're going to pour it now, and then the penultimate stitch this vertical line in the middle and then crochet it through. The next time you release it, you hook a short needle called our penultimate one. A short needle on a triple vertical line and then on the penultimate needle. We hook a long needle, we make a looper on the hook. And then it goes through this and then it goes through this and it hooks out like there's 3 coils on the crochet. And then we're going to go through the first 2 coils and then we're going to go through the last 2 coils and that's the long needle. What we did was we hooked along a short needle on the tree line on the back of the tree in the middle of the braid and then After the long stitch we flip it over here and we have the first stitch here. Here is the position of the first stitch. This is the position of the second stitch. We don't hook the second stitch. At we the do the third position stitch. In the number of stitches hook it. Alright, so that's the group. So that's one of the angles of that lily of the valley. There are 6 groups that we have to tick off and then there's the first and then there's the second. There are 3 locking pins and then you flip the board and you have this vertical line and rear on the penultimate vertical line. Insert the needle and then hook a short needle and then a long needle. Make a looper on the crochet and cross it and then hook it out and cross the first 2 coils. Then empty a needle into the next place. Just keep repeating. And then we have here the 6th turn of the draw position and then into the needle. One more pull and we'll cut the cord. Then a lock pin. And just like that we have the main body of the lily of the valley and that's the 6 horns. We are going to hook a total of 4 lilies of the valley, the main part of the flower, then you can hook in now the same we're going way. To take the green thread, the leaf of the lily of the valley, and we're going to wrap it around the little finger again. and then through the palm, through the middle finger, between the middle finger and the index finger, and then around the index finger, and then the middle finger and the thumb. A total of 24 lock needles. So it's not going to be the same way that it's going to be looped, and then I'm going to wrap it around my thumb and flip it down just to have a look. It's the long one pressing down on the short one and then pinching it like that. We still take the hook out and thread it through the coil and wind it. Check it out and we pull the coil tight and this coil tight. We get to the point where the crochet is free to move and we're ready to go. And then we're gonna hook 24 lock stitches and then we're gonna crochet through. Don't hook the needle too tight. "24 lock pins are hooked, so we can take a look. Our lock pin is a braid, and our lock pin is also called a braid pin. And then we have a lock needle, that's one, and that's it. So we count 24 lock needles, and then when we hook the leaf back, we usually pick the needle from here. Half a braid, and then you pick half a braid like this, and then you pin it all right. If you add the wire, take out the thinnest piece of wire that you've just done. This wire is about 30 centimeters. Fold it back in half a little bit, and you don't have to do it, just don't compact it here. Just fold it in half a little bit, and then we hook the leaves and re-put the wire on. A wire is placed in front of the back line of this crochet stitch, and we are in the position of the penultimate stitch. That's where we were with the 23 RD stitch, and we put the needle in and we take half the braid and we wrap it and we pull it out and we wrap it and we make a short stitch. So we're going to hook 2 short needles, and then we're going to hook another short needle. And then just be careful with the wire. If we're going to have 2 short needles on a wire and 2 long needles and 1 long needle, it's us. Pull all the wire on the crochet and through. I've got 3 braids here, and we're going to go through all 3 of these braids at once, and this is a medium length stitch. Next, make a second medium length stitch. Two short needles and 2 long clocks hook lines. Then, after 15 long needles, the hook line is wound once and half the braid is wound. One hook out, and now we have 3 braids and 3 coils on the crocheting, and we crocheted the eye through the first 2 coils. Line through the last 2 coils just one needle, and then we have 14 米 or the long needle. We finished in 15 long stitches. And then we're going to hook 2 medium and long stitches. The second of the 3 coils is long stitch followed by a short stitch. Okay, we're in the last needle. Hook in 3 short needles, and then at the Q2 where we just there's a right and wrong tip, so we'll fold the tip in half so I can pinch it a little bit. And then we have this branch that's flipped over, and that's what it looks like. Alright, so we've got 3 short stitches in the last stitch that's right there, and then we've got next into the needle, and then hook a short needle. One to one there's a metric 1 stitch, and then you hook 1 short, and then you hook 2 medium long pins. And once you get here, the tips will be better, not so good for the first round but for the next 15 long stitches. And this line on the back is our time. I had it with me, so I hid it in there. We've got 15 long needles now. Once that's done, we're still going to hook 2 medium and long stitches. In the future, 2 medium and long needles at the end of 2 short needles. The first needle on a piece of our wire from the back of the wire round. And then the coils that we've pulled out we can put on this, and we're done with the leaves. And if you think about it, you can do it just because you have wire in it. If we cut the cord, it's about 60 centimeters. Okay, break the wire and take the wire like this. Wrap it around the wire. The final words are like this. And then you go around to the end, and then you have a larger coil here. We're going to drag it across the lane and pull it that like this and then back. We're done with the leaves. This is the 4 main parts. We've done that, and then we take the line here that we've just given the line in this position to the long line, and then here we are going to learn how to make the lily of the valley heart. What we do is we take out the medium thickness of the wire that we just had here, the green wire. Then take out the thread of the color needed for the heart. I'm going to use the light yellow here so I can put it on the paper like this all the way around, and then I'm going to go around twice like this. This actually means there's a coil on it and the broken thread is pinched at the bottom. And then we take a hint and we put it through here like this, and then we put here. Use the pliers to hold it tight. And use a suture needle or hand over here. It's a little fluffier when you separate the threads. You know, just one by one like that. So we can stick it together so it doesn't fall off. Then we can make 3 more red antique ones. And then when we're done with the heart, we take it out. The body of the flower and then pass it through here. And then you take it out so you can tidy it up and it looks something like this. So we'll have all 4 of us. And then we're going to wind this part of the rod. The green thread that I used to hook the leaves looks like this. And then underneath the flower we go around twice more. It feels like this flower is relatively strong. It feels good. Just keep winding the thread. And then we go to his position. You can break the wire and you can glue it here. Or we could do it like we did at the end of the leaf. Tie a knot and we break the thread here. I use a glue gun if I don't like knots. Glue it on at the end to break the thread. That's what it looks like, and then the other three do the same thing. So we've got the 4 branches assembled and then the leaves are finished. And then we're going to take out the rows and we're going to assemble them, and we're going to take a look at that. We're about 2 centimeters apart. And then you can have a space of about 3 centimeters, and you can make an adjustment according to your personal preference, and we use the green line. Then attach a small branch to the pole and use it in the middle. Glue gun. If you don't have a glue gun, you use that glue stick and you burn it with a lighter, and we remove the flower stick first. And then I'm going to turn on this position right here. Leave about 2 or 3 centimeters here. I can put in the sprigs, and the sprigs remove this green thread. If you do go for something stronger, you can use little glue. It can be done without glue. Wrap it around a little bit, and then here, try not to show. Then, we're going to go ahead and put in the second one, and the second one we're going to do the same thing. If you don't, we'll just try it. Yeah, just a little bit of force when you wrap it so that it's long and tight. Take it off and put it in. After he fixed the fourth and fourth branches, he went for a few turns, less than a centimeter, and then we put in the leaves. Today our flowers are on the right side and our leaves are fixed on the left side, and that's what they look like. And then you can put some glue in there. Okay, this line on here doesn't seem too long. You can cut it off if you don't want to, and then you can leave it on and you can just squeeze it out like this. If this was worn like this, maybe his now this is not so convenient. Just cut it off and you can feel it a little bit here. The wire cuts the tongue and you can go around 2 more times and just pull it to the end. Get this last position here and then we can expand. I'm just gonna keep going and I'm gonna get a little bit closer if I'm afraid it's gonna break up here. Just pinch us a little bit and we'll end with this one and then we can go according to. I think it would be nice to do it in this way. That's it, that's it, that's it. Everybody got it.